Hey YouTube, it's your beekeeper here. Look at this project, affectionately called the Yamasaw. One of my longtime viewers, a Solo Asylum, nicknamed it that 3 or 4 years ago, and it's quite fitting. It's a Yamaha motorcycle that I've done some significant modifications to make it a horizontal bandsaw, which is going to be used as a sawmill in theory up at the ranch property. Excuse me. This project has long stalled. I think it's been about 7 years since I started it. It's been 3 or 4 years since I even uncovered it. At least 3 years since I started it and uncovered it. Life just got really weird the last few years, and I haven't really had any desire or motivation to work on this thing. But now it's time to get it out of my yard. I need to move it on down the road, get it up to the ranch, and cut some slabs. I've got some long wanting to do projects in wood that would be really cool if this horizontal bandsaw actually worked. So we're going to mess with it today. I've got to remember where I left off on this thing. I don't really remember where I left off on it. My goal for today is to get it fired up to make sure the wheels still track properly. I've got a faux blade, bandsaw blade worked out of some nylon webbing, which we'll get to here in a minute. And we're just going to familiarize ourselves with the controls, make sure everything works, and we'll get her started. I'll be back in just a bit to explain more of what I found. Appreciate you guys watching. I appreciate those that have been with me a long time and remember the Yamasaw as it has progressed or regressed over the years. About 85% done with this thing, maybe 90%. There are a few things that after the course of this video, I realized I need to make a list because I forget where I'm at. There's just the wiring is a hodgepodge right now. I have a charging issue, but I'll be quiet here. You guys can hear it. I'll be right back. So again, we're just kind of gonna give everything a look over here and see what is sticky and not operating because it's been sitting for so long. That's the charging system. I know I had an issue. That's the factory voltage regulator I have in my hand. I know I bought an aftermarket one. I had a problem with the thing charging. I got it all unplugged. I'm just trying to scratch that itch in the back of my gray matter and remember where I left things off on this thing. But it currently is not charging. I know the stator works. I have the two voltage regulators This is an older, if I remember correctly, this is an older charging system, so it needs an exciter or something, and then the regulator that I bought is just either a 1 or a 2 wire regulator. So if I go with the new voltage regulator, I've got to do some cobbling of the system there to get it to charge. All stuff I can do. I just hadn't done it. I just kind of left it. So yeah. So I'm putting this nylon webbing over the wheels. I just want to kind of make sure things track. I'm going to put some air in the tires to tighten it up. It's not as tight as I would run it if I were actually cutting wood. I do have the ability to slide the harness that, or the bracket, I guess that you'd call it, that the front tire sits in. I've got about 6 or 7 inches of travel, if I remember correctly, that I can spread those wheels apart to tighten the band, and then I do the fine-tune bands tightening with air pressure in the tires. But I'm pretty happy with how this thing continues to track. Yeah, so what do I need to do at this point forward to get it done? I need to build the guide rollers for the bottom of the blade. I need to build some sort of protective device that's going to encapsulate the wheels, so in the event that blade either kicks off the drive wheels or it breaks, it's not going to lop anybody's body parts off. I need to continue the shrouding. You'll see me touch this later, touch the cylinders later. That old Toyota 4Runner fan in the front works really well, and the front cylinder was cool enough to touch with my bare hands. However, the back cylinder was warm enough that it was uncomfortable to touch with my hands. So it's not a big deal. I do seem to recall that I wanted to extend it, the shrouding, to where it just kind of covers the entire engine and gets more airflow over that back cylinder, being that essentially I've taken an air-cooled engine and turned it into a stationary device. Right here I'm taking a video for my Instagram. If you guys are interested in staying kind of current, go to my homepage on my YouTube channel and click the little Insta icon, and you guys can check me out on Instagram. A lot of this stuff is easier just for me to throw up quickly on Instagram than put together a movie. But here we go. We're going to run this thing at speed. I think I've got it in 4th gear. I'm really interested in seeing if this thing will work. It's nice that the speedometer works, because then I can figure out what cuts best. You know, if a 30 mile an hour 3rd gear works well, then that's where we're going to run it. It's all kind of trial and error. I have no idea. I have even no idea if this thing's going to work, but I'm pretty confident that it will. Here I'm touching things. I shouldn't probably be putting my hands inside these moving contraptions, but you know, I'm not very smart. But we're just kind of seeing how things cool. It tracks delightfully. Everything seems to work. I'm glad the carbs didn't stick up, because when we first got this, if you remember, I did some videos of when the carburetors were completely grossed out. The braking system works. You know, who knows? Maybe 3rd gear 40 miles an hour will be the right RPM and torque range for the engine and blade speed. I don't know. But I keep track of it, and I certainly can make my notes. So hopefully this will be the last and final restart of this project, and it won't sit for another 3 years. It just happens. Alright, I'm gonna let you go finish this video out with the lovely sounds of my home-built cobbled exhaust of this old Yamaha motorcycle. So we're just going to run through some gears here, make sure the brakes work, and as always, thanks for watching. Appreciate it. If you've stuck with this video this long, you're in for a treat. The next day Skippy had stopped by, and we had the bright idea of grabbing one of the bands, the brand new bands, and pulling it out of the box. Now I had bought 3 of these things, 3 blades / bands, for this machine a couple of years ago, and they've been sitting on a shelf brand new in a box. But we had the bright idea to pull one of the blades out, throw it on the tires, get it to tension, and it's tight, man. You can definitely get tone on that. This is without any kind of blade guards or roller guides, so we're standing behind the machine. But let's see if it stands the test of some speed. Stay tuned. Gotta go, gotta run. See you.
That's just dumb enough to